As we begin our journey into design thinking, it's important to understand that it's more than just a series of steps. While we talk about the 5 stages, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, as individual phases, they're deeply connected. Think of it like a conversation where each step informs and learns from the other. It's not a straight path, but rather a process where feedback and insights loop back and forth between stages. As we dive into our first step, empathize, remember that what we learn here will shape and be shaped by the stages that follow. In our initial module, we delved into the foundational value of empathy in the realm of design thinking. Now, let's explore this aspect further. Empathy, in the context of design thinking, extends beyond mere understanding. It requires a profound act of self-awareness where we discern emotions from our own experiences mirrored in others. Drawing from the Indian philosophical conception, this mirrors the idea of Antahakaran Shuddhi, where Antahakaran refers to the inner instrument of the mind-body complex. In various Indian philosophies, it denotes the entire psychological process, including the mind or manas, intellect or buddhi, ego or ahamkar, and consciousness or chit. Shuddhi means purification or cleansing. When one is genuinely attuned to our thoughts and emotions through this cleansing, it cultivates a deepened comprehension of situations, behaviors, and how individuals respond to their environment. In any design thinking project, it's vital to resist the impulse to jump to a solution prematurely. It requires an act of patience. You must suspend your judgment and curb the urge to propose solutions immediately. This phase is genuinely about human connection. Empathy acts as a lens, bringing people's experiences into the design thinking process. Before we can begin crafting solutions or even defining the problem, we must first be open to a range of perspectives. This step in the design thinking process initiates with active listening, whether it's through focus groups or by hearing out diverse voices. Sometimes it's an open-ended question, at other times it's a dialogue. Quite often, the most telling clues come through non-verbal cues, underscoring why understanding the cultural context is paramount when empathizing. So what exactly is empathy? Before we progress to the next stage, let's contemplate empathy again. It emerges from an acute awareness of one's own emotions and behaviors. It stems from a profound respect for the other person's dignity, an understanding of cultural contexts, and a deliberate act of attentive listening. It's about setting aside both your eagerness to provide solutions and any preconceived judgments. Embracing empathy is indeed the foundational step in design thinking. An exemplary case in the realm of public service underscores the importance of empathy in action. A diligent public servant, often referred to as the miracle man, identified the dire need for connectivity among certain regions. Recognizing the essentiality of roads to link communities for economic and social well-being, he took on the Herculean task of building a 100-kilometer road, which came to be fondly termed the People's Road, bridging regions that were previously isolated. But here's where the essence of empathy truly shone. Instead of merely pushing forward with government resources, he turned to the people. He recognized that this road would mean more if the communities themselves were involved in its creation. Using modern platforms like Facebook, he catalyzed public participation and was able to raise significant funds for the endeavor. This inclusive approach not only made the construction of the People's Road a reality, but also made it a symbol of collective action and community spirit. His empathetic approach was not just about understanding the need for a road. It was about involving those who would benefit most from its existence. By immersing himself in the community's aspirations and needs, he transformed a logistical project into a story of human connection. Such instances amplify why empathy is crucial not just in design, but in public service, fostering collaborations that result in long-standing impacts. We can understand this by analyzing it through the poem's framework. When examining the groundbreaking People's Roads initiative, this framework provides an insightful lens to understand the depth of empathy in action. The poem's framework is a simple tool that can aid your observations and engagements with people. We start with P, which stands for people. The public servant's primary stakeholders were the communities residing in these once isolated regions. Their daily challenges, aspirations, and needs were central to his observations. This wasn't just about a road, it was about the lives that would change because of it. Through direct interaction and observation, he understood the value this road would have in terms of socio-economic mobility. O stands for objects. In these communities, there might have been modes of transportation like carts, bicycles, or hand-pulled vehicles that could not access broader markets due to the lack of roads. Additionally, cultural artifacts which represent the rich heritage of the region were now given a chance to reach out to a wider audience. These objects painted a picture of their way of life and what they held dear. E stands for environment. The topography of the area, the nature of the terrain, and the climatic conditions became crucial components. Observing the natural environment helped identify the challenges that previous infrastructure projects might have faced. This context was essential not just for design, but also for understanding how deeply the community had to adapt due to these limitations. M stands for messages. Conversations among community members were filled with hope, aspirations, and perhaps a sense of resignation too, given the historical neglect. They talked about the places they wished to visit, markets they wanted to access, and opportunities just beyond their reach. These conversations were both explicit desires for better connectivity and implicit calls for respect and acknowledgement of their existence. Finally, S, which stands for services. The absence of a road meant that several essential services were either inaccessible or hard to access. From healthcare and education to markets for trade, the lack of services had a cascading effect on their quality of life. This gap was glaring, and any design thinking solution would begin by addressing this foundational need. In conclusion, by applying the poem's framework, one can deeply immerse in the context, leading to a more holistic and empathetic solution. For public servants, this is not merely a methodological step, it's a leap towards citizen-centric governance. Through the People's Road example, it's evident that when empathy drives public projects, the outcomes are transformative and long-lasting.